This next matchup, both men have talked about, and we will dive into detail about how they are ready for war. This man has faced top competition at 147 and 154. He has gone up against the likes of Jermell Charlo, fought Julian Williams to a draw, most recently lost a decision to Jared Hurd. He pulled off a notable upset as he defeated Olympic gold medalist Felix Diaz back in 2018. I've never seen this guy shy away from any challenge, any opportunity. He just comes forward and he fights hard with a record of 25 wins, a dozen of those coming by way of knockout, 8 losses and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Francisco Chia Santana.
How's it going, everybody? How's it going? I'm very excited to be a part of this show. Everybody that's going to be tuning in that night, I suggest you guys tune in because you guys heard of the Arturo Gatti-Mickey Ward fights, right? We'll expect nothing less because this is what I say, the West Coast Arturo Gatti-Mickey Ward. Josesito is an all-action fighter like myself, so I think you guys are in for a good treat that night.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys, that gives me goosebumps with them saying that. I mean, my goodness. Let's talk about Santana's opponent with a record of 37 wins, 20 of those coming by way of knockout against 8 losses, trained under the guidance by renowned trainer Robert Garcia, beat the likes of Victor Ortiz. Again, this is another fighter that has gone up against the who's who and the world's best. He's gone up against Canelo Alvarez, Marcos Maidana, Jesse Vargas, most recently lost to Keith Thurman back in January of last year in a title fight, had Thurman hurt, coming off of a victory over John Molina Jr. last September on the undercard of Spence and Porter at Staples Center in Los Angeles, also on pay-per-view. Talk about a remarkable story, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome the Riverside Rocky, Josesito Lopez.
Good morning, everyone. I'm thankful and glad to be here, finally be able to fight in this messed up year. But I'm prepared and I'm ready for everything on the 5th, and I know Santana's going to bring a big fight, a big game, so it's going to be an exciting fight, so tune in.
Now we will move over to the welterweight division. Francisco Chia Santana and Josesito Lopez. Francisco, you mentioned that this could potentially be the West Coast Gatti-Ward here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington this Saturday on pay-per-view. How are you preparing yourself mentally and physically to put yourself through what could potentially be an extremely physical and grueling matchup against Josesito Lopez?
I mean, obviously in the gym, I always work hard. That's always been my thing, is always train hard. But it's most importantly mentally. You got to prepare yourself mentally for such a hard fight. Especially like you've mentioned yourself, the West Coast. Gatti-Ward. I mean, that's an amazing trilogy, back and forth type of fight. But again, Josesito style and my style, it's almost like a reflection of ourselves in the mirror. We both have faced some tough oppositions and some really high level A fighters, and for some reason we always fallen short just by a slight hair, but we always put up a great fight. We don't give up. We just keep coming forward. I mean, he's the definition of the Riverside Rocky, and then I'm a big fan of Rocky movies, but yeah, I mean, hey, listen, at the end of the day, this is what we signed up for, and I think he's the great definition, like myself, of our fighting styles. It's also how we take life in general. Whatever life throws at us, we always keep coming forward. We always keep pushing forward, and by all means, we never give up. And that's exactly what you're gonna see come Saturday night.
Josesito, same question. How are you preparing yourself mentally? And also, how did you prepare physically for a fight that could potentially be extremely physically taxing and a battle inside the ring against Francisco Santana?
Well, the preparation's done in the gym. You know, we've prepared for months and for a tough fight with great sparring partners throughout the entire year. Expecting a really tough fight. You know, when I'm not fighting the best, I'm fighting some of the toughest. You know, and vice versa. So I'm definitely prepared and ready for whatever comes on the 5th and execute my game plan.
Do you like the fact, like your last fight was against John Molina Jr., and there were fireworks in that fight, but it was another fighter who has an aggressive style. You didn't have to chase him around the ring. He was easy to find. The same can be said about Francisco Santana on Saturday. Do you like fighting a fellow aggressive fighter?
Yeah, I like fighting aggressive fighters, but I can adapt to anything. I've seen every type of fighter in the ring, so I can adapt and work around whatever game plan I have to use. But having a fighter in front of me, it's always good for an exciting match, and this is going to be one of them.
Francisco, for you, you have gone up against some top names, but you've fallen just a bit short. What have you learned in those fights that you feel like you can get that signature victory against a top-level opponent with Josesito Lopez that you will be meeting on Saturday night?
I mean, like you said, yes, I faced practically everybody, you know, like himself. And I think that I think this is a fight where it's like go big or go home. This is a fight where I can show to the world, but show to myself that I'm not just a solid B-level fighter. I want to be recognized as an A-level fighter. So I think you know, this fight is a great fight. It's a great opportunity because it's also showing both of ourselves where we stand and basically giving myself another shot to fighting one of those A-level fighters and being able to stamp myself and be recognized as an A-level fighter very soon, you know, and going forward with that, you know, I think every fighter's dream is to be a world champion, you know, I mean, or else, you know, what's the point of fighting? So the whole point is to be a world champion. So this is one step closer to it. So again, you know, I know what Josesito brings to the table. He's a phenomenal fighter that, you know, he's very rugged and he brings it, like myself. So it'll be a good test for the both of us that night.
Where do you feel like you have the advantages, not giving away your game plan, but where do you feel that you can go ahead and have the better of Josesito Lopez in what aspects of your fighting style?
I guess I'm 2 years younger.
So the youth.
Maybe, but I mean, not, you know, we'll see. I mean, I again, you know, I have faced bigger opposition in the past. You know, I mean, I've fought as heavy as close to a middleweight. But again, this is going back into not knowing what I was doing. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's not, you know, I don't know what, there's not much, you know, other than on Saturday night we'll see what the outcome is.
Josesito, he pointed out the fact that he's fought at higher weight classes. It's quite conceivable that he can come in being the bigger man on Saturday. You have quickness, you have a very well-rounded fighting style, but how do you feel like you're going to be able to deal with the size of Francisco Santana?
Well, size really hasn't been an issue too much, except, you know, maybe the time I moved up to 154 wasn't quite my weight division. But as far as size doesn't matter. It's a lot of skill in the way you use it, timing, you know, speed. So I've worked on a lot of different game plans and styles in the last few years with Robert Garcia. He's helped me prepare, sparring some of the top guys, got me back to the top level, and I'm ready. I'm ready to perform and to give a great show. You know, my fight game, I don't go out there to try to give a good show. I go out there and fight, and it just happens to be exciting to everybody. So, you know, I'm having a tough opponent in front of me that always brings a game fight, a tough fight to every opponent he faces. So I'm expecting that. So I prepared for that, and I'm ready to execute.
Josesito, in my estimation, I feel like you have underrated boxing skill. But at some point or another, in all your fights, you always engage in these toe-to-toe exchanges. Does that just happen? Is it the fact that you just love to mix it up? Because I feel like, you know, all of you guys were born to be fighters, but in your fights, you just have that natural knack to engage in these exchanges.
Well, I'm a natural fighter, you know, sometimes natural instincts come out, you know, but, you know, in the last few years, I've worked on a lot of different parts of my game, of my boxing game that I've lacked on, and with the help of Robert Garcia and then the entire training staff, we've upped every aspect of my game, and, you know, I'm prepared for any type of fighter. I'm prepared for a top-level fighter, and I just got to go out there and show it now.
Francisco, prediction time.
Well, there's going to be 2 men in the ring that night. They might be throwing some jabs, might be throwing some right hands, some body shots, some hooks, some uppercuts, a little bit of everything. So we might get punched, might go to the 10 rounds, it might end before 10 rounds. But so you guys don't want to miss it. It's going to be an exciting fight. That's all I have to say.
Josesito, what's the outcome going to be like against your opponent?
I predict a great fight. I've done everything to prepare to win. I've done all the work. Now it's time to execute, but could easily be the fight of the night. So make sure you tune in and don't miss this one.